I'm going to show you an in-depth training with or tutorial with the Ken, and it will be with a second Ken Suburi. And also I've got a tanto with me. I'm going to show you afterwards what we can do if you haven't got the space. I'm lucky to have a garden, but if you haven't got the space and you want to do the training indoor, tanto can help you if the ceiling is too low. I will demonstrate what you can do also with it. So first I'm going to demonstrate about a second Ken Suburi. Okay, so with all the Suburi, whether it be with a Ken or with a Jo, they are study very specific techniques for specific body movement, and I personally find they are actually very difficult to do because you've got to execute precisely as it is. The movement looks simple, but it's actually very detailed and it's got to be accurate. So we have a tendency sometimes to add a movement to any Suburis you may be doing, and I explain. For example, this is already adding too many steps. I exaggerate a little bit, but I demonstrated something that was wrong. Too many steps, too many movement that is not in the second Ken Suburi. It's actually way shorter and simpler. It's a huge paradox as well, because it looks simpler but it's actually very detailed. So I explain. So here the footwork is minimal. So there's no other footwork. You're into Ken no Kame, and here you step back into Itoremi. Over here, when you come forward, it's a mistake to raise the Ken more to the back to try and get some power. I'm so exposed here, so there, and then trying to cut down. That is wrong. The way it should be done, in my view, is you apply the Ken, the kokyu, into your left hand, and as you come down, as your sword come down, or as you step forward, it needs to come down quite rapidly. It's cut down. So, in other words, you make a step, you're already feeling confident that you are stepping when the sword is already falling down. So you're going behind the attack more. It's very much like yokominuchi. So you don't do a yokominuchi striking sideways, so again you're all exposed, and then strike to the side. The yokominuchi needs to be precisely, so when you strike, you are behind the arm, and that is proper. And I think with the Ken Suburi it's the same thing. So right there, down immediately. The other thing is, you've got to keep your head still, straight. Don't try and tilt your head to the side or drop it down. There's a very common mistake sometimes is people do this. They tilt their head to see better because they want two eyes to see at the front. What is interesting about this second Ken Suburi is your right eye sees forward. Your left eye will be covered with your forearm, and it doesn't cover your visibility because your right eye is observing here, your left eye is seeing this angle. And that's quite interesting. If you have a look there, my left eye is covered, but yet I can still see. Sometimes I see this. You put the elbow out, and it's not correct. The feeling is this feeling, not that feeling. Elbow tilting out. It's what I say here. This is a picture frame, man body. Trying to keep the elbow inside the picture frame. So when the elbows are inside, you feel the power of your hips more than when they're outside. So I'll demonstrate again. The other thing is that hand, when it's going up into kokyu. Kokyu. It's going down into kokyu shape here. So it is not doing this. Very common mistake. You bend your wrist and then you're trying to get it back and then bend it again. Think of it as if the wrist cannot be bent. Keep the kokyu. So you get this feeling with a Ken. That feeling. If you try it, you'll find it actually connects better. Other thing that it also does is because you're doing it correctly, you're not compromising your posture. Because sometimes I see this, as people compromise and they're trying to lift it up and then they tilt their head slightly down. And if you keep that, it will actually naturally go above your head without touching the top of the head. So you get a nice, really circle shape where the hand is doing simply this. So you get this feeling. So I'll demonstrate from here. Now, footwork, it begins like this, into this precise footwork. When you step back, in my view, because you're pulling your right hip back, you have to move your back foot into this position. So your right hip can withdraw straight to the back, and then pull fashion. If you do it this way, where you don't move your back foot, there's some form of collision here, because you can't go straight to the back. The only way is to go around, and then you get this front foot here and adjust it, which is not, doesn't feel right to me. It's there, straight back foot, move back. The other element of it is, I mentioned it in my previous videos, if you want to have a look at the in-depth tutorial for the first Ken Suburi, is minimize the footwork. So there, you lock your front foot. It forces you to move with your hips first before stepping. If we study this precisely, what happens here is you draw and you're pulling. At some point you're going to fall off balance if you don't step forward. So you need to step to find that balance. And the body weight is still 50-50. So there's no feeling of 60% or 70% on your front foot and the rest of the back. It's not. It's when you have this 50-50 stance, you're still straight, good posture and solid. Now I have to adapt because my garden is a bit on the slope, so this ground here is slightly elevated, and that's why there's a bit of a bump here. But it doesn't matter, because ideal scenario, you want to have a nice flat ground. But I also feel the training is about adapting in any situation you're encountering. You know, if you're faced with attackers, you can't actually tell the attackers, hang on a minute, the ground is not straight, let's use a straighter ground. So you have to really adapt where you are. And that's part of the Aikido training. So I'll come back to the footwork. Precise, you move your back foot and then you pull your right hip. And then here you have Itoremi stance. With a Ken, you get this position. Now, the elbow is down. Nice feeling. You can't see my left eye, but it doesn't really matter, because I can still see forward here. What I see in between my eyes is I see my forearm, but it doesn't affect my visibility. My left eye, as I mentioned earlier, you can see all this area as well. And my right eye more focus here, there. So right here, Kokyu. So I demonstrate with a full feeling. Now, I said earlier that if you haven't got the space, you can use tanto. So I'll put the Ken away. If you live in a flat or a house with no garden, or the weather is bad and you can't train outside, there are some training that you can do at indoor. And if you have a tanto, you can practice the Ken Suburi this way as well. So the idea of it is you hold it as if you hold a Ken. So there, Ken no Kumei. You already feel more the body connected. Itoremi. You get a strength extension. do the movement with the shoulders and the arms. It's a trap. That's what people think. If they don't understand, they see this movement as this, or worse, is you raise and then move back, you step forward and cut. You step back, raise, step forward and cut. You can see it's almost my body sliced in half. There's lower part of my body doing one job and the upper part trying to do another job, but there's no synchronization. It needs to be together from the center. So with tanto you can do that as well as with a Ken, but where you connect and the movement begins from the hips. So it's not arms, it's not legs, it begins here. It initiates to start all together, moving forward together. So you get this feeling. So from here, you can feel this is taking a little bit more movement that begins and finishes from here. So very good practice with the tanto. I hope you enjoyed that.